Welcome, everyone, to a brand new tutorial. It has been a good while since I've done a tutorial, but here I am. I said I was going to make one, so I'm making one. I didn't really set a date for it because I wasn't sure when I was going to make it. But anyway, I'm going to show you what we're going to be making in this tutorial right now. Okay, so there you saw it. It is a Spider-Verse emblem poster which I made about 2 years ago. It is a little bit overly complicated the way I originally made it. So this new way hopefully will streamline some of the things that I did. But let's get into it. You know, it's a beautiful spring day here in New Mexico, so I'm inside making a tutorial. Anyway. So this is the city image we're going to use. It'll be linked down below, hopefully, if I can find it. Anyway, poster size is about a 5 by 7.5 in inches, pixels. Yeah, you can convert it however you want. So you want it a pretty good size. You don't want this guy to be taking over all of it. There we go. Actually, I'm going to move it over just a little bit here. Now that's going to be our background. You can use whatever city skyline you want to use. Just make sure it's, you know, kind of dynamic, but in retrospective, you know, this is probably a bit too busy for a background. Nonetheless, we are going to use it anyways. So hit M on your keyboard, or you can go over here to the little marquee tool. Select all of it, the whole frame. Hit Command or Control J, duplicate the layer, and move that one down underneath the background copy. You're gonna right, so now it's just completely that instead of having the whole image back there. If you do want to go back and readjust, go for it. Just, you know, know where you want the image to be before you place it. Right click on the layer here. We're just gonna BG for background. Right click on it, convert to smart object. So that way we can make edits to it without, you know, changing it too much. And go up to filter, camera raw filter. So like I said, I'm going to do things a bit different here because this image is originally very noisy and it's a great picture, don't get me wrong, but because it is not a raw file, it's going to be real pixely. And you can make all the adjustments I'm making. I'm just bringing up some of the dehaze. Not too much because then it looks like that, and that's just whew. Bring down the exposure a little bit, and the highlights just a tad. But this image is going to be blurred out in the background, so don't worry. Alright, that's all the adjustments I'm going to make on this for now. I'm going to hit OK. Now, so what we're going to do, we're going to hide that little eye next to the layer. I'm going to open my library palette here. You can find the emblems wherever you can. I have them like as a not smart object, what are they called? Like a vector image that I made on Illustrator. So if you want to do that, find a good image of one of all three of the Spider-Man emblems. Trace them out on Illustrator and put them into Photoshop. It works because then it vectorizes the whole thing and it doesn't, you know, you don't have to worry about it getting real kind of pixely around the edges. You see all my wacky ones here. Stuff I used for work a while back. We'll start with Holland. And it is a little bit different now, so don't get on me about that. Scale it down a tiny bit. We're just going to work on this. Okay. I'm back. So that took so long because, I mean, you didn't know all that because I edited it to where nothing was happening. But I had to find the right texture that I used for it. And it might not be exactly the same, but I'm going to use this one. I'm going to try to find this for you to use for your own stuff. It will be linked, hopefully, in the description. but don't hold me to that because I'm not sure it will be. All right, so got that on there, and what we use, not this one, we'll actually leave that open, but this one is just to add a little bit of depth to it and a little bit of scratches to give it some more texture. All right, we're going to convert that. We're going to hit Command M, bring up the curves. There we go. Along those lines, it's screen. We're going to go with it right here. We'll actually size it up a little bit more. There we go. Cool. All right. So again, that just adds a little bit more depth to it. If I did go a little bit too fast there, all I did was bring up a curves. I converted both these images to a smart object. Curves is Command or Control M, or you can go up to Image, Adjustments. Curves are here. And yeah, this one I am going to hit Command U, bring up the hue saturation, hit colorize. I'm not going to change any of the hue or the lightness. I'm just going to bring the saturation all the way up. Actually, I'm going to bring down the lightness to about -50. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to hit the FX tab down here at the bottom. Make up Bevel and Emboss. We're going to go with inner bevel, chisel hard. The depth, don't know yet. I'm going to put this up to about 8. I'm going to change the gloss contour. Not that one. Oh, I might go with, I think that's the one I was already on. Yeah, we'll stick with the one I was already on. No, we'll go with this one. So this kind of weird, curvy one. Sorry, I'm terrible with the terminology. I'm going to switch that to 90. The depth we are going to change to about 300. You're going to get a gradient overlay on top of this. Make sure it's radiant like me. Make sure it's black and white. And you're going to bring down the scale. Click on this. Bring down the, make the white just a little bit more gray, so that way it's not so intense in the middle. Like that. Hit OK. We're going to contour this a little bit because it is too flat. And then we're going to add a drop shadow. This isn't bad. Make sure all these things are about here. I want this just a little bit darker. We'll go to 85. Distance 45. Spread 5. Size, we'll bring that down to 215. So it's a little more solid. Let's bring that down to 70. There we go. Yeah. So this might actually go back. No. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll stick with that. Okay. So those are the new settings I just switched to because I didn't like where I was going with that. So it's just this kind of half. You want it to look like this. Your contour. Hit OK. Make sure this is not checked anymore because then it will give it that weird look. I'm going to bring down the highlight to about 90. Cool. Hit OK. And we're going to do the same step for all 3 emblems. So what you can do is just leave this like that. Hold down Shift and select all those layers. Hit Command or Control G. It's going to group it. We're just going to name this one Holland. And then you can close it. And then I'm going to speed up the next process because it's just doing the exact same thing, but with the other emblems. You'll have to make minor adjustments because they're all kind of shaped differently, but you'll be able to figure it out. So here's a quick tip real quick. Just cut in. So we want all the effects that we have on this emblem on this one. So what we can do is we'll get all of that. We'll just right click on the layer. We'll click on copy layer style. Then we'll go up to this one, the McGuire emblem, right click, paste layer style. Everything is transferred over. It actually looks okay like this, and so you might not have to do much more. If there are minor adjustments you want to make, go for it. So this one is a little different because of how like elongated it is and how much skinnier everything is. So just know that you will have to make adjustments with this one. Alright, so we have all three emblems completed. How we are going to set this up is we're going to have Holland in the middle. So actually what we're going to do first, hide all the layers but the Holland emblem design. Create a new layer. We're going to hold down Command, Alt or Option Shift E, and that is going to take everything that's on here. That's why we don't want the backgrounds or anything showing, because we want this as just that layer, nothing else on it. Enter. We're going to do that with each of the emblems. So hopefully you don't have to create a new layer. It will create one for you if you just hit those commands. Again, that is Command, Control, Option or Alt, Shift, E on the keyboard. Take each of these grouped layers, and we're going to move them under there, under the background copy. So now each layer isn't kind of weighed down by the additional stuff on top of it, and if your computer is like mine, it is going to struggle with that many layers. Coffee break. Iced coffee, by the way, because it's rather warm out here. So this is the basic look we're going to be going for, is Holland in the middle and the other two on the ends. All right, so I have these webs, which I created a while ago. I don't remember what brush I used for it, so I apologize, but they fit on here. I will try to somehow make them available to you if you want them. If not, you can make your own, or you can go onto any of these like free brush websites and look up webs. I'm sure you can find some. Size it a little bit. So that's how we're going to split everything up. All right, what I might actually do is something else here. This is an additional step you don't have to do. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this web out real quick. So that way it's just that one. And then we're going to do the opposite for this one. You can remove them. I just did two completely different ways to select something, so do it however you like. And there we go. They're split apart now. All right. The next step is to kind of create the background with different variations of coloring. So what we want this top one, the McGuire one, to look like is more kind of sunsetty orange. Holland's is kind of be just the normal coloring that's here, and with Garfield's we're going to go more kind of a blue, cooler tone. So we're going to duplicate the background layer. We're going to hit Command U. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to bring back up the camera raw filter settings, and we are going to shift things to make it a little bit warmer. It's going to get warm in here. It's pretty much all you want to do. It's not a whole lot. And then to make a mask. So you just go down to this, select the layer you want it to be, you hit this little square with a circle in it, vector mask, click it, and it's going to create that. You can hit Command I on the mask, make sure you're not clicked on this because then it will just invert the entire image. Make sure you clicked on that, and then we're going to click top web. We're going to grab whatever selection tool. I'm just using the magic wand and I'm selecting everything below the top web. And so then we're going to go up here, we're going to select inverse. So now we're selected. You could have just selected that. I don't know why I did that. We're going to make sure our foreground is white. Nope. Okay. Make sure our foreground is white. We're going to select the vector mask and we're going to hit Shift F5, or we're going to go up to Edit and Fill. And there you go. See, now it's a different color. We're going to duplicate the background layer one more time. Go to camera raw fill settings again. Temperature more blue, kind of add some more contrast. And we're going to actually desaturate the whole thing just a tiny bit. Put some yellow, more blue in the shadows. Yeah. Kind of like that. And same process. So this time we're going to select bottom web and select them there. Here, Shift F5, and there we go. Now each one is kind of its own thing. Excuse me for that weird way of saying thing. So now we're going to do this kind of the same thing with each of the emblems. So kind of get them to where you would like them to be. Size them how you want them to be. Like so. All right, and now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna add a vector mask to each one of these. And then we are going to, so now, see, there you go. Now he's only in that top corner. Select this one where with McGuire's or Holland's you kind of have to do that. So basically you're doing what you did with the background layers. You're cutting out to where the Holland emblem isn't spilling over into Garfield's or McGuire's and vice versa. The only thing is now we have to go in and kind of clean up these little spots here. So what we're going to do, we're going to select the vector mask, get our brush tool, make sure black is in the foreground, and we're going to get a soft brush. Let's bring the flow all the way back up. Get a soft brush and kind of just paint over all these spots right here. Anywhere where you can see kind of the edges spilling over still into the next image. Now it's pretty clean. And then we're going to go to McGuire's, do the same thing. Whoa. Make sure you're not erasing too much of the emblem. And Garfield's. His actually doesn't look too bad because of how scrawny the emblem is. There you go. You got the basics of it down. You hit overlay. And it's kind of where you want it to be. But now I'm going to select both of the web, just the web parts. So what I did was, see right here, I selected that, I moved the mouse into there, I hit Command, and it will select everything that's in that layer. So because it's just the web, hit that and you want to hit Shift and select the other one. So both are selected. See the little ants dancing around them? And for each of these, make sure the foreground is black. Command Shift or fill. So that way, those are also kind of cut into the little legs here. And we're going to make those into overlay, duplicate them, and then we'll bring the opacity of this one down just a little bit to about, we'll go 50. Gives it a little more style. You can group all those together so they're not crazy. And that's, so now I'm going to get the background here. So I just did the same thing I did earlier. Created everything that was showing into one solid layer. Hit Command. We're going to convert this into a smart object. Filter. Camera raw filter again. I use this a lot. We're going to darken the whole thing. Then bring the vignetting up just a little bit more. So that's before, after. And then we are going to add a solid color, black, and we're going to do soft light. You know what? We might not need this camera raw. Disregard the second camera raw filter settings. We just created a solid color. Change the blending mode to soft light, and we can bring the opacity down just a little bit here. Let's go 65. And what we can do is blur the entire background a little bit. Go 5. So that way it doesn't look as bad as it was looking. Yeah. Emblems are there. Bring back the webs. And you got the basics of it down. And from here, we're going to go to the very top to the webs one, create a new layer, do the shortcut I showed you earlier, and make everything into one solid layer. Convert that into a smart object. We're going to duplicate it. We're going to go to FX, go to blending options. We're going to, in this little area where it says advanced blending channels, we're going to hide the red, hit OK. Second layer, blending options. But this one we are going to hide the green and the blue. And now we are going to shift the whole, this top layer left. And you see what it did? It kind of gives it that chromatic look, the RGB kind of displacement here. See? Distortion, excuse me. And use as much if you want it to go all like that, go for it. It's your image. I don't like to go too much with it, just enough to kind of give it some style. Like that. And then from there you can also add, go up here, go to solid color. We're going to choose white this time. Make sure black and white are in the colors. You're going to convert this to a smart object. You're going to go up to filter, filter gallery. We're going to, no. It's not there either. Where is this? Go to sketch, bring down the sketch, halftone pattern. Make sure you change this from dot to line, and you can bring the size up. It gives this, it's gonna throw your eyes off. It's doing that for me right now, so sorry about that. It's gonna create that. You can make this into a soft light, bring down the opacity quite a bit, and it's kind of got that like TV effect to it. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna do everything I just showed you. So you can leave it like this, and you can add your text, which is the text I used was, this is the font, common font, leave it in light, middle. You can put whatever you want here. I'm going to do what I did. Center it up, make sure the last letter here is at 0 for the spacing, so you can properly adjust it. And so with this, see how some of the lettering gets cut off a little bit. What you can do is create a new solid color. Make sure it's black, and then select the mask, Command I on it. Put white in the foreground. Grab a soft brush, bring down the flow to pretty low, about 20, 23, somewhere in there. And in the areas where you're seeing some of the text be eclipsed a little bit, just do a soft brush paint over it. Try not to make it too obvious though. Like up here, to me, this is way too obvious. There you go. And that's pretty much it. That's the look you're going for. You can, once again, hide that, create a new layer, convert to smart object, and just do a final kind of pass of coloring and color correcting however you want it to be. And then you can also, with that layer, create little spots like this. So what I did, I grabbed the marquee tool, M on the keyboard, made an original kind of square or rectangle here. Hold down Shift, you can make more. And you can do as much or as little as this as you want. It's just another little layer of style, doesn't have to be done. You go grab the move tool, select inside the box, and shift it however you, whoops. Why is it not? Just moving the whole thing. I want to do that. Because this is, yeah. So make sure that this layer is no longer a smart object, because then it won't cut it out. So you can do something like that. Kind of gives it that glitch effect. On top of that, there you go. Add your logo, put the Marvel Studios logo like I did originally. And that's it. That's pretty much the whole tutorial. I know it's a little long, a little tedious, but some cool results. You can use it with, you know, a lot of these effects on whatever you want. And that's it. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at JordanJamesB, where I post a lot of this stuff. Hopefully getting back to it. I have been lax in it just because I haven't had a whole lot of inspiration, but getting back to it. Yeah, and give this video a nice little like, subscribe if you're not already. I have more of this coming on the way very soon. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.